How you doing, guys? This is Eric from loadout.com. And if you're a prepper like me, which you probably are if you're watching this video, you've probably been rechecking and checking all your various preparations over the past few weeks or months with everything that's going crazy in the world. It feels good to do something, even if we can't buy a million extra calories of food or 18 more gas masks. Link is in the description. It's still better to organize our stuff and prepare the stuff that we already do have. And that brings up a topic that has been discussed by preppers and shooting enthusiasts since the beginning of time, and that is how many loaded mags should you keep on hand, or is it good to keep on hand? I'm not even going to bother answering or talking about the how much ammo should you have for every gun, because I think I've talked about it before on this channel, and also the answer is always more. But when it comes specifically to loaded magazines, that's more useful, because I think the outcome of any engagement that you could find yourself in, whether that was anything from a simple home invasion to an all-out, Red Dawn, invasion, would be more affected by how many loaded magazines you had at that moment than it would be by how many loose rounds you had total, because that's only going to matter over the longer term multiple engagements, because you're going to be reloading magazines. So first of all, when it comes to total magazines, I have some absurd amount. It's over 75 for the AR magazines. That's not necessarily necessary. I just have some unresolved trauma after growing up under the original assault rifles ban, and seeing magazines for like $10. I still feel like I'm getting away with thievery, and even though that's just the price now, so I keep buying them, but it certainly doesn't hurt. I'm more talking about loaded magazines. So if we look at the U.S. military, I wasn't infantry and I've been out for a few years, but if I'm not mistaken, I think the current loadout for a U.S. Army infantryman is like 7 mags, which is 210 rounds, and that's carry. That's a lot. I have my current setup that I have on my vest, which is ready to go, and I love these vests. You can check those out in the description as well. This is the same Safe Life vest I've always had with level 4 plates, 3A plus armor, but I've got just 4 mags on the front and then 1 in the rifle already, so that total is 550 rounds. That's a lot of ammo. I mean, if you're talking about needing more than 150 rounds of ammo, you're in some serious shit. But I also do keep some more extra ready to go. And what I prefer to use for that is this ammo can. This is called the Tactical Mag Can. I'm sure there's various versions of this one. I've got that one from Brownells, I believe, and as always, link will be in the description. And the good thing about this is it keeps loaded magazines in there in an upright position, so they're not rattling around, bumping into each other. Yeah, if you had an empty ammo can, you could fit more than 15 magazines in there without those foam, but like I said, that's a great way to have 15 loaded bags ready to go with that you can just grab, open up, pull them out. You can see in there, make sure they're all loaded just by glancing in the top, and they're easily accessible. And you could have multiple cans like that if you want to, or another one which is all full, and you're gonna be pretty set. So that total, combined with what I'm wearing and what's in that can that I can hold in one hand, that's 20 magazines. So that's 600 rounds. So like I said, if you, whenever the Russians decide to break into my house, they're gonna get a nice surprise with, with 20 loaded mags. The other question that always comes up is, of course, about should you cycle through the magazines? That's something that I've seen a lot of people talk about. Some people swear that they've had magazine failures from them being loaded too long, and then I've seen actual, metal and spring engineers, like industrial engineers, swear that that's not how springs work, that it's more about the cycles and about them being compressed for any specific lengths of time. I go with the best of both worlds, because even those engineers, I haven't heard them say that it's necessarily negative, like that there's any downside to swapping out your magazines, and that the cycles that they're referring to is usually in the thousands, if not tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of cycles of compression before a spring would fail. Because I mean, we're not talking about like the springs in the gun or valve springs in a car that are going through thousands or millions of cycles. In a magazine, loaded, then unloaded when you shoot it, that'd be like 1 cycle every time you empty a magazine. So I'm not too worried about it, but because I do have so many magazines, I go ahead and do cycle through them. Certainly if I ever empty one by shooting, I load a different magazine, and if I haven't shot in a while, I try to at least quarterly cycle through these 20 mags, and I don't see any downside to that other than the time. And the additional benefit of doing that is you get to manually inspect all your mags at some point throughout the year and notice if there's anything, if a follower's broken, if it's crimping up, if it's cracked, if it's looking rusty or whatever. So I don't see any downside to doing the cycling out, even if it's not 100% necessary. So let me know what you guys think, how many you keep on hand specifically, and if you're holding them in a vest like this one, in a plate carrier, in some kind of weird backpack, whatever, and if that's the total loadout you have, or if you think that this is not even nearly enough for a serious prepper. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later. And like I said, links to that box and a few other things will be in the description if you want to check them out for yourself.